me out of here, and I promise you I will get you the money.
You show blood.
Okay, well, let's move on to the final movie for today's show, Buried, from 2010, which is about an American truck driver who's working in Iraq, and he wakes up to find that he's been buried alive inside a coffin, and all he's got is these items that he had on him, which includes a lighter and a cell phone, and it's just essentially a race against time to escape. Now, I saw this movie originally in the theaters as well, and I had quite a good experience with that when I watched it in the theater. I mean, it's a movie about a person in a box, and that's it. I mean, you're not really seeing anything other than Ryan Reynolds in a box for 90 minutes or however long the movie goes for. So, I think to have made a full-length movie with those limitations is pretty incredible, I think. I mean, it's certainly not an easy thing to do. If anything, I mean, this is, to me, like the opposite of found footage movie. I think found footage is like the easiest thing you could do in a movie, and you know, complete opposite here. I think this is probably one of the most difficult things you can do in a movie. I mean, I don't love Ryan Reynolds, but I've kind of always enjoyed him, at least the movies he had done prior to this, so I didn't watch everything he was in, but, you know, I typically enjoy his performances, I guess you could say. So, depending on how much you like Ryan Reynolds, that may factor into how much you enjoy this movie, because it is him for 90 minutes straight. He's not trying to be as funny in this movie as he does in other movies, but there's still he still has that touch of comedy, I guess, that he's adding to one or two small scenes in the movie. Like that one scene where he's talking to, what was it, his wife's friend, and I can't remember what he called it, because I didn't watch this movie recently, but I've seen it plenty of times in the past, but he calls her a bitch or a cunt or something. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, that's so funny.
But I haven't watched this movie in years, actually, to be honest with you, but I have seen it multiple times, so I still remember pretty much everything that happens, just not word for word. But I do enjoy it. I think it's a good movie.
I was impressed with how suspenseful they were able to make this movie, but ultimately, I mean, I found the ending. Did the ending really surprise anyone? Like, was anybody watching this movie thinking the ending is going to be something significantly different? I just don't buy it.
Not necessarily, but I think it's
the joining that conclusion.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to say. I think the journey there is. There's some pretty terrible moments throughout. Like there's that one. Well, they kind of build through the movie with this, but eventually gets to a point where, you know, his employer fires him over the phone, so his family loses all the benefits, and incredible piece of shit moment type thing.
That was the most American thing I've seen in my life, by the way.
Yeah, so that moment was pretty heavy, I thought.
Yeah, I think probably the most depressing scene, I guess, conversation, because it's out of the same scene, but when he was calling his mother, who has Alzheimer's, that was a fun scene. You know, and the ending was somewhat sad, and it was like a quote unquote hope spot, with, you know, but it just, the movie was okay, just it didn't really blow me away, and it didn't surprise me. It was about as gorgeous as I thought it could have been, but it wasn't, anyway, in my opinion. It wasn't great. It's like an okay movie. That was definitely impressively made, given the limitations they went in with. But even so, I don't think it really was something I could see myself watching that many times, to be honest.
Okay.
Who was your favorite voice?
Jeez.
I like the generic terrorist guy, to be honest.
I don't know. Yeah, probably the terrorist guy. Just he's like, you give me 1 million money. He's the one guy who I would quote after the movie.
I will say when I went into this movie, I did think they're going to eventually. I thought they had to, cut away from the box, just to show something. I didn't know the whole movie was going to be inside the coffin. Which it's not like it deeply surprised me when they didn't. I was just somewhat I was more impressed than anything. Like, hey, this is I don't know if it's like a high budget movie, but they had Ryan Reynolds, so I'm assuming it was decently well funded. Um, so I'm just sort of surprised it was so, I guess, unconventional in the way they did it. And it's probably to its benefit. It is, like I said, it's obviously very claustrophobic, but it's pretty suspenseful too. I think the snake fight was a bit much, but I mean that's okay. Um, I just like I said, I just let it blow me away. I'm sort of interested. Like, you said you saw this in theaters? What was the reaction in theaters to this?
Well, I watched it very late at night. It's like a 9 p.m. screening, I think, and I mean, we're going back almost 10 years, or
Yeah.
roughly 10 years, so I'm trying to... I think there was only, like, a small group of other people there, so... But they all seemed quite engaged. Like, no one left the theater, no one really made any noise from memory. I think, as far as I could tell, people were enjoying the movie. I was just looking at the budget of the movie, so it says it was about $3 million, and you have to assume a good portion of that probably went to Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, but how much did the snake get?
Well, doesn't matter. The snake is gone. But it says the movie made $21.3 million at the box office. I don't know if that's just America or if that's worldwide.
Either way, that's impressive.
Either way, yeah, it made some decent money. And so it does say that the movie is based. It is a true story.
Yeah, that's one thing. From an American perspective, and this is related to the movie, but the whole thing with, hey, I'm not a soldier. I'm just working here. It's like, well, you're in our country, bringing, helping the army. It just, I saw, I felt bad for, oh, the Iraq and Afghanistan wars was such a mistake on the part of the U.S. It just, I get where these people are coming from. What did the guy say? Like, well, you say you wouldn't do this, but maybe if your family was bombed and you were like dad kids, maybe you would. I thought it was pretty powerful, and I thought he had an okay point. That's my Jiggy's political comment for the night. It's gonna be a new segment.
I mean, I'm seeing other sites saying it was $2 million the budget.
Oh, what's $1 million? It's just a coffin and a snake. Like,
yeah. Well, we do hope that the snake did get, at least a few 100,000. I thought the movie was good, and especially considering the limitations of the obvious, it's just a person in a box for 90 minutes talking. That's really what it is. But I do think it has some decent suspenseful moments.
And plus a finger scene, which I love that.
Yeah. They find ways to make the 90 something minute runtime kind of go by without any big lulls. There's no real, you're not really spending 30 minutes here where nothing's happening. There's always something happening.
Yeah, there's a few quieter moments, but it's still pretty suspenseful throughout.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought it was pretty good. So I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10.
And I'm gonna throw this one a 6, which is it's a below average rating. Like I was impressed, but it's not a movie I could see myself watching that many times. It's well made for what it is, but I just wanted more from it. And yeah, that's all I have.
You must hate Ryan Reynolds.
Actually,
Ryan Reynolds Hodor.
I was looking through his movies. I've not seen that many Ryan Reynolds movies. I've never seen Deadpool or Deadpool 2. Um, I've really only seen like maybe 3 movies with him. But he's a decent actor.
Yeah, probably my favorite Ryan Reynolds movie is Waiting, which is a comedy.
Yeah, I've not. Yeah, he was in. I just remembered he was in a small scene in a comedy movie called Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. He was so funny there, and he was, I think, the main character in the Amityville horror remake, which
Yeah.
he himself was a decent actor. I didn't care for the movie. But I mean, he's been in other things that I enjoy. Not that many things, but he's definitely an actor who I recognize. So it was sort of nice seeing him in a box for an hour and a half.